inspirational video and very good,
That's me.
Margreet.
Yes.
You're all with that. Yeah, I found that a very inspirational, video because many things, many elements, it, introduces it to, the background, behind Enagic. Also, Mr. Ashiro, who, of course, is the father of Enagic, and we celebrated his birthday there not so long ago. We were in Okinawa, and what an amazing man. And what you'll find as you get to know more and go deeper into the Enagic culture is the compassion and the mission that he feels he's on to share this with everybody in the world. And when you look at companies out there that we can become involved with, I feel that we are really with a legacy company here, a generational company, because I mean they've been around for 51 years now, and it's a legacy in the sense that we can pass this on through generations. I can pass this on to my children. You can pass it on to your children. And Enagic is going to be around, and I hope that you'll get that vision in the presentation today. That there's just so much room still for development and expansion, globally, because we haven't hardly even scratched the surface with regard to the market. So I'm very pleased today and actually honored to have special guests on this call. And I mean, everybody on this call, everybody on this call is a special guest. You are very special, and you've taken the time out of your busy schedule, maybe time away from your families, to be with us today. So we're not going to take very long on this, call. 1 hour is the max that we're going to take up. We want to keep it short, so we're going to, really get into it now straight away. And there's a young gentleman who's joining us on this call who I've just so much, deep respect for him and what he's doing within the Enagic, family. And I see him really as the future, of Enagic. The way he's doing the business, his work ethic, and a remarkable gentleman. And I've learned so much from him. He's quite young, but he's full of wisdom. So I asked if he could, be so kind to join us on this call last week when I was down at the event in KL, and he, of course, immediately says yes. That's the way he is. He's got such a big heart, and he's just goes around the world, and he does trainings on the Emguarde, which he's become really an authority on. So he's great, and if you get the chance, hopefully we'll have him back in Europe very very soon, and there'll be many people. I expect in the Netherlands we'll have at least 250 people there to see him. And if we don't have 250 people, I'm going to eat my shoes. Okay, so that's how confident I am that we're going to have a great turnout when we get this gentleman over. So Simon, without any further ado, I'd just like to hand it over to you, and maybe you just like to share some things with the people on the call today, what you feel is of value, but also maybe share a little bit about your story, because it truly is inspirational. So Simon, I'm gonna hand over to you now.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you very much, Peter, and Margreet, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So, first of all, it's also an honor to be here. Thank you for organizing this call. I think we have, by the way, just to let everybody know, we're cross lines, but we're just, we're not even in the same organization, but I believe we are in the same organization, and that organization is called Enagic. The moment that we operate from a standpoint of abundance, and we work with like-minded people within the company, because the fact that each and every one of us is in Enagic today tells something about yourself, right? You're here on a mission. You like the products, you like the comp plan, you like the company, you like what Mr. Shiro stands for. And I think with that, immediately there's a common ground for all of us, being on this call here today. So I truly believe in that, and that's the way I've been operating for the last 9 years, being in this business. And Peter's a very, very good friend, and we met first time, can't remember, was it KL or something? Or and then Bangkok, and then I met him in Europe. No, he was in Germany, in Düsseldorf. That's the first time I met Peter, and then it was KL, then it was Bangkok, then he came back to KL. So this is the Enagic family. It's growing, and it's growing beyond borders. So thank you for having me on this call, Peter. It's an honor. And for those of you who are meeting for the very first time, probably Peter's team or Margreet's team, never met a lot of you before. Just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Simon from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm a 682-4 as of today. I'm looking to hit my -5 in the next 12 months, working very hard. Sometimes you just put your head down and you you work and you get to the goal and stay humble, keep learning, learn from other people. I learn every day from even 2A distributors, 3A distributors, because people come into this business from all walks of life, from different experiences. So rank to me is irrelevant. What we want to learn from is people that can give value. And that's how I see things in this business. So um, before I was in Enagic, I was actually an accountant. And I like to tell this story. I was with a firm called PricewaterhouseCoopers. Some of you may know it, one of the top audit firms in the whole world. They say they're top, but they pay really bad in KL as an auditor. You work a lot. You work 9 to 9, 6 days a week, no life. And the starting pay, I still remember when I was offered a job about 11 years ago. It was not more than $800 a month, So and that's a KL average salary at that time. So that was my background, and I have an entire family filled with accountants, auditors, consultants, bankers, engineers. That is my family. And I don't know if I'm resonating with some of you here, but I'm the only one in my family that decided to step out of that, let's call it norm, or that structured, expected career path that all my peers, my cousins, my sister took to do my own thing because I saw something in Magic where a lot of people didn't see. I saw a future, I saw a vision, I saw that I could do a lot more in this company than I can ever can with the traditional accounting path I was going on. And my family was, in a way, they were not negative about it, but they were like, why are you doing this thing? Why are you selling this water? You're an accountant, you're a professional, go to do your corporate work. What are you doing with this business? And I think that's something that a lot of us actually face because they don't have the clarity about the business as we do. When we attend the workshops, we had an amazing 2-day weekend in KL that gave a lot of new members a lot of clarity. I'm going to talk about the next one happening. So I came from that background, and I truly believe I didn't have any network marketing experience, no sales experience, no business experience, none of that, right? And I simply copied exactly what the successful distributors did in my country. That's all I did. I looked and I analyzed what people were doing, what were the successful people doing, what were the not so successful people doing, and I just copied them. I didn't question it. I didn't doubt it because to me, if they're achieving success, there must be a formula because I believe that success is not by chance, it's not by luck. I'm sure sometimes luck is an element, but most of the time it's formula. Most of the times are things that they do on a daily basis. Most of the times are principles, right? So that's what I followed. And 9 years down the road, here I am today, in front of you, amazing people as a dash four. I'm 30 years old, coming to 31 this year, and I honestly look at Enagic as a lifelong business, and I'm so excited. I mean, being in this business, I don't know how you feel about it, Peter or Margreet, but being in this business for the last 9 years, I'm still so excited for it because to me, Enagic, with this Emguarde and many other things that we'll be discussing on this call here today, is going into its next phase, transformational phase for the better. And there are more good stuff waiting for us. I believe this first 9 years or whatever, how many years we've been involved, it's just the prep work for what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So I'm very, very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited. So that's like a short, not so short introduction of myself.
It was very valuable, Simon, as well. What I found, very inspirational from what you were saying, which you didn't mention in your intro. Maybe you'll talk about it later, but you actually went and lived in Nigeria for a year to
Yeah.
build your business. I mean, wow, what a commitment that was. And in the beginning, it wasn't easy. So maybe you just like to share a little bit about that so people can get
Yeah.
an idea of the mental toughness that you have.
In fact, I got a couple of my Nigerian downloads on the call. Shout out to them. We got Pastor Solomon James, we've got Mary Jane, we've got Adeyemi, we've got Idris, Mr. A1. We've got a couple of them. We've got King. We've got a couple of them on this call. Great people, great, great, great people. And but going and living there for a year was a tough decision, because if you have not been to Nigeria, it could be quite intimidating. because it's very far from home. That's one. Very different cultures, and it's not. I would say it's not an easy country to go into. You got to get the visa. You got to get the yellow fever jab. You got to get all these things sorted out, and you got to get your. And the visas were so expensive. Going there, flights were so expensive, and but what I love about the country honestly is the people. Incredible people. Very difficult to start the business because when I was doing the Kangen demo for my downlines, they loved the machine, they loved the water, but the moment I talk about the price, some of them wanted to slap me in the face. They said, you must be crazy to bring a 4,000 euro machine to Nigeria. A1, Solomon, you guys remember those things? And we were doing like three, four, five, even up to six presentations a day in the hall, non-stop, no food, black coffee, Kangen water the whole day. First meal at 6, 7 p.m. In the evening. And that was every day. That was like 3, 4 months in a row. And Heman, my good friend, my leader, was also there with me. I believe he's also on this call. And we just roughed it out. It was just exciting because it was new, it was a new market, and didn't know what to expect. But first 5 months, we did a lot of hard work. I myself and Hema, we went there August 2022, and it was only, and we did that hard work every single day. It was 3 to 4 demos. We had tens, if not 50 to even 60 people on a daily basis that comes to our hotel to collect water on a daily basis. And that was when the hotel manager even asked, guys, what are you doing here? Like our guests are saying that this is like a water center, is no longer a hotel. You gotta cut it back a little bit. And we just did it. We didn't care. And 5 months of hard work, you know, not a single sale, not a single sale. And it was really tough. The first sale came in November, and I still remember A1, if you're there with me, it was Mr. A1, my top leader there, that actually had a downline that said that, can please give me your company account? I would like to bank in the money for the machine. And just with that sentence alone, just imagine 5 months, there was no results. Nobody was interested to bid and put an order to a guy asking for the company's bank account for him to bank in the money. We were so happy. We went out to have a nice dinner, had drinks and everything. And that was somewhere around October 2022. And up to today, that guy has not banked in the money. So, he didn't buy, but we got excited. But about a month later, the first sale came in, and it was really that first sale that cracked our egg in Nigeria. And since then, 4 months after that, we sold about 200, 220 machines. So the biggest lesson I got from that market is you just don't know when your moment will come. And I believe what I've noticed in many distributors within my team, outside my team, is people, they just give up too soon. If you believe in the process, if you believe in what you're doing, if you have seen how your upline has been doing it and they are getting the results and you're not getting the results, and if you're doing the same thing, everybody has a different timeline, you know? So obviously the way they do it, the way you do it must be slightly different. But as long as you're doing fundamentally the right thing, it is only a matter of time when you crack your first egg or you get a breakthrough. And what I've seen in a lot of distributors, they just give up way too early. And it's such a shame. And it took me 5 months to crack that market, to bring in my first couple leaders, for them to invest in their machine, right? To buy a 4,000 euro machine in a land where there was no office, nobody but my face and Heman's face as the proof of trust. It was very difficult. But we managed to do it because of our sheer conviction that if we were to break through in this market, the fruits that we're going to be harvesting is going to be immense. So that was a crazy experience. It was a once in a lifetime experience. But after that, Nigeria was like a second home for me. It was really cool, always going back there. It was very fun being with my downlines. We go to different places, we go to different cities, we do demos. And the Enagic mission, guys, anywhere you go in the world, people need three things. They need good health, they need peace of mind, and they need financial freedom. You don't really run away from these three things. You could be in Timbuktu or you could be in Ireland. People want the same thing. So with that in mind, our Enagic business is bound to flourish in each part of the world. And the exciting thing is in Africa, Only one branch in Nigeria. In South America, only Mexico. In Europe, not all the countries in Europe has an Enagic branch. So when you look at it as it is, there is still so much room for this company to grow, for our business to grow. So that's why, the Nigerian experience was incredible. A lot of hard work, but today we have a 682 distributor. We have 268, which is already on this call today, right? Mr. A1 and Mr. Solomon, they're on this call today, and many other 4As and 5As and 6As to be. So these are the fruits that we're able to help. We're able to inspire a lot of these people, and now their life has changed. They love the business, and helping more people just like them to come onto the business. It's been an amazing journey, yeah, for the Nigerian market.
Super, Simon, and congratulations to your leaders and your pioneers on the call, today. Well done, teamwork, of course, amazing. But it's also, like you say, the relationships that you build. I mean, you'll carry, and I can see how much you light up when you're talking about your experiences there in, Nigeria, traveling around, and I'm sure you've met some amazing people and built,
Incredible.
friendships and relationships that will last a lifetime. It's
Yep.
enriched your life, it's enriched their life, and everything else. And another lady now on the call, I'm going to ask her to tell her a little bit about her background and her story. Is again someone who I've met and grown, to growing very fond of over the years, become a good friend. And she really is a pioneer, not just in the Dutch market, but also in the Caribbean island of Curacao and Bonaire, the Dutch island. She's opened up that market, and she actually, like you, went over to live there. But I think that was also for her maybe a little bit easier, because she did make some sales in the first couple of months, I think, when she went there. So Margreet, who's a 6A3-3, she's really doing an amazing job. Margreet, maybe you'd like to share with the people on the call. I know many of you downline are on the call as well, so it'd be great to hear from you what you want to share with us on the call today.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for organizing this call, and thank you for inviting us. It's really great to have the opportunity to, work together with you, and for Simon on the call, it's really fantastic. I started my business in 2012, or actually not even the business, because I really came in via my health issues, and the Kangen water helped me solve all that. I had been sick for 6 years, couldn't work at all, and that gave me so much enthusiasm about the Kangen water that from that enthusiasm, I talked with people, and then even I was not in the business yet, and then people wanted to buy already machines because they saw what happened to me, and they saw the sparkle of my eyes, and the enthusiasm that I had was very important, I think. And that's also what I always say to people, is coming really from what frequency you are admitting. So then I started after a few months, I did start, and Peter, because you came giving the presentations in my home. That's how we started, and also at other places with family members and friends. And I thank you very much for helping me doing the first steps. And I noticed that I just loved this life, because I actually was an acupuncturist that time. But before that, I had been a musician. And as a musician, you're free. You have your time to yourself. If you're working, you're always working in another spot, And so with the Kangen business, I again had that experience of the freedom of time, the freedom of working when you want, where you want, being able to travel, to work abroad. And I really loved it. So that made, I think, after 1 year or 1.5 years, that I decided to quit my acupuncturist job and to go totally for the Kangen freedom business. And that was a real good choice, because I had such incredible years with the Kangen business, meeting such great people all around the world. And indeed, Peter, somebody invited me to Curacao in the Caribbean because she lived there for a while, and she had a friend who had also a health problem. we went there, and that was the start of the Caribbean adventure. And I've been working here 7 years now, I think, and it's lovely. That's the whole thing with the Kangen business. You can do it everywhere. And now, since 2020, the business really changed, because before we only did the live presentations, which is of course very nice because you meet people, there's a lot of connection. But 2020 also made us aware of the possibilities via Zoom. And I'm actually very grateful for that, because via Zoom, if I'm in Curaçao now, I can do Zoom meetings with people in the Netherlands, but also everywhere in the world. And that makes it so much easier. So doing live presentations in combination with Zoom presentations is really how we work today. And one of the things that Simon said already, and that I also experienced, is like you need perseverance to go on also in times that it doesn't go well. And I always say to people, success doesn't go just as a straight line like this, but it goes with rounds and curves. And the only thing you need to do is just go on. And if you go on, then you see where you can come. And yes, I think that's the main thing I wanted to share. And I just love sharing still the knowledge of the water. And since the Emguarde came in, it's so great to share also this part of awareness for people, because a lot of people are not aware yet about everything around electromagnetic frequencies. So thank you, Simon, also for making us aware of that and spreading the world so great into this world. And we are still learning from you. Thank you very much. So Peter, you're muted, so we don't hear you anymore.
There we go. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you I was not very clever with when it comes to Zoom and stuff like that. Thank you very much for sharing that, Margreet. Appreciate that.
And Peter, we of course are very curious also to hear your story. Can you share a little bit about how was your journey, your Kangen journey?
Okay, well, for me, it was actually slightly different. I was and had been involved in the network marketing industry for several years. In fact, I've been involved in the network marketing industry since last century, guys. Last century, you know. I mean, that gives you a clue to my age. But at the time, just before Enagic, I was involved with nutrition, and I'm very grateful for that. Business. I learned an incredible amount about nutrition and was exposed to some great talks, and it was really fantastic. I was building a nutrition business. It was like on a monthly subscription. People would order a package and then they would order on a monthly basis. But what I noticed was I managed to get the income up to a certain level. It certainly wasn't where I wanted it to be, to give me the lifestyle and the freedom, the time freedom that we all look for in the network marketing industry. And what I noticed at a certain moment was that the number of people in the beginning, yes, you do create a bit of momentum, but after your business matures and sort of it plateaus off, because there were new people joining, of course, but the number of people joining was sort of equal to the number of people stopping, who would stop their monthly subscription. So I was just spinning wheels. I wasn't really getting anywhere. It wasn't really going up. Now, you need a lot of people in those types of programs to really make a lot of money, because when someone's doing an auto ship for maybe at that time 150 euro a month, maybe you're getting a 15 euro, 20 euro commission on that. So you really need a lot of people, depending on the structure of your organization. So I was really looking for something that would give me a better income. And when Enagic came on, it really was a godsend. It was a blessing. One, when I heard about the Kangen water and what it does, the three properties, it for me was also like a missing link in nutrition, allowing the nutrition to be transported much more effectively into our bodies, also creating the detox effect. And just everything about it was like, wow, I got to have this product. That was even without having seen a demo or anything else. And then, I watched a demo online. I think it's probably still online, kangandemo.com from Bobby Gridelli, a great, demo, fantastic. So then I got started and we just did demos everywhere, like I talked to a few people, they got really excited. And like as Simon and the guys in Malaysia talk about in their training, no demo, no sales. Wow, did we do demos? We were the demo kings. I would unhook my machine, I'd put it into the back of the car, I'd drive off to someone's house and I'd install it and do a demo. And what I learned was not everybody, of course, would purchase or were interested. And what I learned in that period was I just learned it by doing it, but also you cannot show the business right enough to the wrong people, and you cannot show the business wrong enough to the right people. Let me give you an example of that. One of the strongest lines that I developed, I brought my son to his tennis lesson, and I had 2 hours really just to hang out and just wait for him to, do his tennis training. I was sort of watching, and a good friend called me up and he says, "Where are you?" I'm sort of in the area, and he was actually from Belgium, and he was, visiting the Netherlands at the time. And he said, "Where are you?" "I'm sort of in your area." And I told him where I was. He said, "Oh, I'll drop by. I'll swing by." I didn't have anything with me. All I had was just some Kangen water in the bottle. And I sat with him and we talked. And "What are you doing now?" So I told him, like the one Simon's drinking out of there. And I did the tea bag test, with the green tea. And he was amazed. He said, "What is this? This is incredible." So he had to have the machine. And through him, he introduced someone that really exploded my business. And then, we got some momentum. I developed really, 3 pretty strong lines in my 4A business. And from, just doing a lot of demos, we did a lot of home demos at that time, and that was great fun. That's how I actually met you as well, Margreet. We went to your home and we did a demo, and you invited people over, and that sort of mushroomed, and other people from, your team then did, Monique, I remember, did demos, and we went to her beautiful home, and yeah, it was just so much fun, and you met new people. And yeah, with home meetings, that was great. People who would get started, then they wanted to do the business, then we would schedule in a home meeting. And that was great. That's what we did. We did a lot of demos. That really was the motor that was driving the business. And in that 4A, those 4A lines, I was developing, my business. I was going fast towards 6A. Guys, there were months that I made between 20 and 30,000 euro back then. It was like, this is crazy money. Okay, there was some months that was a little bit less, things, around Christmas, New Year, but it would have been unusual when you're building your 8 point, that's where you're really being paid in the beginning, and your 8 points to and it's even better, now today because of the sales of the K8, and also when people are buying a K8, they're going to be buying other products as well. So it's a phenomenal, opportunity that will allow you very quickly to make incredible income. And that for me was really the motor, the drive of, my business, and then helping people like Margreet and others to develop their business into, the deeper structure and go up the ranking. And actually that brings me on to a burning question, for me to ask Simon. What I, noticed last time, I think I met him, he was a 6A 2-3, and this time he's a 6A 2-4. This guy is ranking up at breakneck speed. It's like, Simon, what are you doing? How is it possible? Usually it takes, maybe a year or 2 years from one rank to the next rank, but you guys are doing it so fast. So Simon, maybe you'd like to share what your secret is on how fast you guys are ranking up and what's caused that, and what is your strategy for that?
All right, cool. By the way, Peter, that's great hearing your story. That's the first time I'm hearing your story, by the way. You know, it's good to know that you are from the network marketing background. I think that's also pretty key. And that's one thing we talk about in our training is to look for the networkers that are not so successful in their companies. Because if the networker is already making about, let's say you're in your previous company and you're already making 50,000 euros a month, you probably wouldn't even look at Enagic. It's not so practical for people to look for the top earners. So that's one thing we talk about in our trainings. Look for the networkers that are barely getting by, making a couple thousand euros a month. And I think that's been our go-to people when we open up new markets as well. So it's great to know your background, Peter. And well, I was a 682-2 as of April 2024, April 2024, and became a dash 3 June 2024, and then a dash 4 March 2025, which is 2 months ago officially. So I'm going to share a couple things that I've been doing since the Emguarde launch, which was about 2 years ago, started in Malaysia. And I think this would be pretty interesting for a lot of you guys here in the call. Basically because Peter, very good friend of mine. So on today's call, there will be no secrets, only secrets to success, how we're able to do it. And but one thing I have to say is a lot of these things are also a buildup of 9 years of seeding. And these seeds, they also it takes time for it to grow and flourish one day into beautiful flowers, from seeds. But these seeds, I want you guys to understand, it's been planted since the last 9 years ago. It's very difficult to do things overnight. So a lot of people, when they see the success of new leaders, they would tend to think, oh, is there a secret sauce? Is there this one button that you press and everything goes, your way? Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's a lot of seeding, but of course, there are things that you can do to speed up that process, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And one thing that really helped me rank up from a dash 2, dash 3, now dash 4, and I'm looking at my dash 5 in the next 11, 12 months, is the Emguarde. I've talked about it a lot. Peter knows about it. I couldn't shut up about the Emguarde, right? Every time it's Emguarde, 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 and people call me Mr. Emguarde and all that stuff. I love the title. I don't love the title, but I'll take it. So the reason why I'm so passionate about Emguarde is like what Margaret said. It's a there's a huge potential in this industry, and a lot of people are not seeing it because I think the thing about Enagic distributors, so Kangen, let me call them Kangen distributors. A lot of them are very fixated with the Kangen machine, and I don't blame them because the machine is incredible. All of us have the SD501, we have the K. It's incredible, right? And we tend to love it so much, we study it so much, and that in a way makes us overly focused on one product. And what I'm looking at with the Emguarde is it is a complete different product. It tackles a modern problem, and modern problem needs modern solution, and that's where the Emguarde comes in. EMF, electrosmog, electromagnetic radiation from our phones, cell phone, laptops. And there are things that Kangen water can do that the Emguarde can do, and there are things that Emguarde can do that Kangen cannot do. So in terms of the product, it's patented and it's one of a kind. You wouldn't see any other product doing what Emguarde can do in the market, and that got me really really excited. So that was 2 years ago, and when it started, I just went crazy on it. I studied every PowerPoint, I studied every article that time that was available on electrosmoke. I read every book. There was a book called Low Level Radiation. We sell them during our events, cost like €3 or €4. Oh, thank you very much. This tiny book, it's actually from the Consumer Association of Penang. Penang is actually one of our states here in Malaysia, right? So this book is really old, and they have tons of stuff. Small little book, and I read this cover to cover, and we have books from Dr. Pinky, a lot of stuff, right? So I was really excited about the project, and I was somebody that was totally unaware of electromagnetic radiation. No idea. I'm the kind of guy that charges my phone right next to where I sleep. I had no care in the world, didn't know what was this all about until I started studying it. And the moment I studied it, I realized that, damn, people need this product. And I started looking, are there similar products? Are there products out there doing similar things? There are a lot of products in the anti-radiation bracket, but none of it does what Emguarde does. So that got me really excited. So coming back to the secret sauce, let's call it. How did I manage to, coming back to Peter's question, how was I able to rank up so fast? For those of you who are familiar with the Enagic system, the K8 has a sales value of $4,980, right? Sales value in the system, not the selling price, but the sales value in your DSS Enagic system. The Emguarde has a sales value of $1,480. Now, if you calculate 50 Emguardes and 50 K8s, you would have 100 group sales and $323,000 in sales value. 50, 50. So that's what I did when I started the Emguarde journey. I said, look, I've been selling people the K8, I've been selling people the SD501, product by product, person by person. And when you look at the Emguarde, everybody needs to drink Kangen, everybody needs to use Emguarde. I started making it as a combo set, and I sold it together, not one at a time. Because I believe if some distributors adopt the strategy, let me sell them the K8 first. After that, talk about the Emguarde. And after that, I'm going to also talk about the way I approach people, but that's for a separate question. So the secret sauce was I mixed Emguarde and K8 together, both products with the same customer, and literally shortened the time to build a new 6A account by half. And because of the enthusiasm of people on the Emguarde, that exploded as well as a business. I have downlines that only sells the Emguarde because they join Enagic with the Emguarde. They have no idea about the Kangen machine. They've never heard about Kangen before, didn't know what Enagic was. They came into the company with the Emguarde. And through that, they learn more about Kangen, and now they own the Kangen machine and they started selling Kangen. So we have different types of distributors, in my organization. But at the end of the day, it is about putting the information out there, be a pioneer of the technology of the Emguarde, and be an expert in it, and make sure there's duplication in your team. Make sure you take care of each and every one of your downlines. Make sure they're equipped with the tools, the knowledge, the PowerPoint, back to basics. And that's what I did. I did what I was doing for the last 9 years, but just with a lot of intensity. Because let me tell you why I got so excited. Because I felt the last 9 years I was in Enagic was like a training ground for me to launch something huge, which was the Emguarde. For me, it was like starting a brand new business called the Emguarde business. Let's call it the Emguarde business within Enagic. But I looked at it as a brand new business. A lot of distributors, when I talk to them about Emguarde, they think it's just another product. Oh, we have the Anaspa. Oh, we have the Ukon. Okay, now we have an Emguarde. All right, let me also recommend to my client. That's not how I saw it. I saw it as a whole new business altogether within the Enagic organization. And I went at it as if it was my first day in Enagic. So the right structure, package it together, you know. I'm not somebody that believes in selling one customer too many products that they don't need. So I'm pretty much against that. But I believe in getting them what they need. And number three, I did it with a lot of intensity. There was no secret behind it. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of seminars, and back to the basics. And that really propelled my ranks from -2, -3, -4. And that was it. It was very simple, and it was clarity. I had total clarity on the Emguarde product. And because of the clarity, because of the things that I've read, because of the training that I've attended, because of all the research that I've done, that gives me the confidence and the competence to go out there and handle the market. Whereas a lot of people, when they get some rejections, they get a little bit demotivated. And every time you have something new, if you're doing something new, there will be rejections, there will be challenges. And if there's none, you're not the first person doing it. Let's be fair. Because when Kangen came to Malaysia, the Americans have been prepping it for the last 15 years. We had all the information that come to us. We had all the demo videos. Peter, you mentioned Bob Gridelli. In fact, it was so interesting. I looked up to Bob so much because that was where I learned the Kangen demo, kangendemo.com. We had him all on our websites. And guess what? Bob reached out to me on Facebook, said, Simon, I'd love to learn Emguarde from you. And that was just an incredible moment, right? It's just incredible, right? And I learn everything. So when there's no challenges, that means you're not a pioneer in that segment or that product. So there will be a lot, especially for you guys in Europe. It's still so new. So if you get demotivated because of a couple questions or a couple rejections, you're not going to get very far. You really got to push through it, because we have to understand that now Emguarde is not even available in North America. You guys in Europe, us here in Asia, we are the pioneers of Emguarde. And every pioneering person will go through a lot of challenges. And if you're able to power through it, learn from it, make a lot of material, teach your team, that's how it is, Peter.
That's amazing, Simon. Thank you, for sharing that. And Also, now we're on Emguarde, I think Margreet has got some specific questions on that from the people who are on the call. But also, you guys, and I think you're going to talk about this in a moment, have set up a Facebook community where all the information available regarding Emguarde, it's a tremendous resource. So, Margreet, maybe you'd like to shoot off your questions regarding Emguarde to Simon.
Sure, thank you. Well, the first question you answered already actually about how you ranked up so fast and that you're actually focusing on selling the two products to people. That's great. Yes, I understand that. Next question is more and more people ask about the influence of the Emguarde on 5G. So what do you answer when people start to talk about 5G, Simon?
Great. That is a great question. So before I go into that, before I answer Margaret's question, I have actually jointly developed a Facebook community with the Emguarde team here in Malaysia. It is called Emguarde to the World. For those of you who are not part of it yet, it's on Facebook. It's an open community. We have an administrative group here in KL that manages it, posts things up, and a lot of good stuff. And later we can actually go through it because all the basic fundamental questions, PowerPoints, presentations, recording, trainings, everything that you need to know about Emguarde is already on that Facebook community. So because why we have set that up is because when I remember when we started the Kangen business, nothing was centralized. Information was coming from left, right, north, south, east, west, and we were the ones that had to push it together and then create some structure, right? So when I started the Emguarde business, I realized that there is a need to centralize things for my team. And because we were the first team that grew Emguarde really big and we decided to open it up, our trainings. That's why Peter, that time we invited you to our training and you have a couple of guys from your team that came here. We decided to be the pioneer in this field and we wanted to help even distributors outside the organization. That's why all these things started from there. And so please join the group if you're not in yet. It's called Emguarde to the World. So coming back to your question, Margaret, is 5G. It's a big topic. I've traveled to Europe 3 times on behalf of Enagic. I've been to Hong Kong, and all these people ask me the same question. What about 5G? Can the Emguarde protect us from the 5G? So I think for the 5G question, we have to really talk about a few things because I can't answer it in a short sentence. I can't say yes and I can't say no. All right, let me explain. Now, 5G, if you go to the Nokia website, they actually use 4 different bands of frequency. High band, mid band, low band. There's 2 mid bands. So what are these bands? These are different frequencies, right? Different frequencies. So 5G uses the high band is between 50 gigahertz to 60 gigahertz. And for those of you who know about gigahertz, 50 gigahertz also means 50,000 megahertz. And 1 megahertz is actually 1 million hertz. So when you talk about 50 gigahertz, you're talking about billions of hertz. This is extremely high frequency, right? And then you got a 2 mid bands, which is between 3 to 10 gigahertz, below 3 gigahertz. And then you have the low band, which is below 1 gigahertz or 1000 megahertz, which is within Emguarde's harmonizing zone. Because if you read the Emguarde brochure and on the website, what is Emguarde's harmonizing zone? It is between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz. Now, let me explain further. Why did the Emguarde developer decide to focus on this particular range? That brings us back to a report from the FCC that came out in 1997. Now, this report talks about what is the frequency range where our human body absorbs a lot of the radiation energy. What is that range? Because we have frequencies high, low, medium. How do we know which one is dangerous? How do we know what to avoid? We don't know. So FCC actually came out with a guideline almost 30 years ago. So this is not something new. And that frequency range is actually 30 to 300 megahertz. So it's not as high as 50,000, 10,000, 30,000 megahertz. And it's not as low as 1 or 2 megahertz, but it is 30 to 300 megahertz, where our body actually absorbs a lot of the radiation energy. And that is because That is also the resonating frequency of our own organs. Our brain is 72 megahertz, our liver, our heart, everything resonates between 50 to 90 megahertz in our body. And that's one of the reasons why this range, our body is most susceptible to radiation frequencies within this range. So 32 megahertz is right here. So let me use my finger, 30 to 300 megahertz. MGUT protects you from 3 to 1000. All right, so they overcompensate the protection zone. So coming back to the 5G question, according to the FCC, the body absorbs radiation energy from 30 to 300 megahertz the most, which is coming from which band? Is it the high band, mid band, or low band? Which one is it? It's actually the low band.
Yeah.
And the low band, and if you understand frequency, it is the lower band that travels the furthest. That's why when you had 3G, I don't know if you guys remember 2G, 3G, what happened? You had one tower on top of the mountain and everybody was getting a signal. That's it. What happened when they had 4G? You see more towers. Each community had a couple towers, couple towers. And now 5G, what happened? Every single stretch of a road, you get a 5G tower building next to each other. Why? It is to accommodate the high band frequencies, because the higher the band, the shorter the traveling distances. That's why when you learn about them sending out that spaceship, is called Voyager 1, to outside of our solar system to go and explore space, that spacecraft communicates with Earth using radio wave of an extremely low frequency. It travels through space, billions of miles. So frequency, that's how it works. The higher it is, the shorter the distance. So when people ask me, does Emguarde protect me? I know it's a very long answer. Does Emguarde protect me from 5G? The answer is yes, but from the lower band. Why? Why the low band is important? Because according to the FCC, it is the low band that our body absorbs a lot of the radiation energy. All right. And I think because of also certain regulatory guidelines, Emguarde, the developer of Emguarde, couldn't make the Emguarde harmonize the higher bandwidth as well because of certain emissions regulation, because they may be concerned where it could be affecting telecommunications, your 4G, your 5G, because you have to understand that people from the government don't understand what the technology is. They look at the product spec and they decide whether to approve the product or not. That's my assumption, that the developers decide to protect us. The Emguarde is protecting us from the most vulnerable range of frequencies, including from the 5G or coming out from your mobile phones. It doesn't matter, right? So the short answer, Margaret, is yes. It protects us from 5G, but from the specific range.
Yes, exactly. And your idea is that actually the higher ranges, but higher frequencies from 5G are actually less harmful to our body.
I mean, I'm no RF expert. I'm no EMF expert. There are a lot of experts talking about how 5G is extremely harmful to the body. I'm no expert, so I don't really want to say what is safe and what is not safe. I'm an Enagic distributor. I look at literature given to us by Enagic, and what I understand is it is that lower bandwidth that our body absorbs the most. So I couldn't say what is dangerous and what is not dangerous to our body. But I can only say that according to this credible source of information, this is the bandwidth we absorb a lot of energy, and Emguarde is designed to protect us from this band. Whether the high band is extremely dangerous or not dangerous to us, I don't think I'm in a position to comment on that because I'm not an expert. But based on what I've learned and what I've researched, it is the lower band that our body absorbs the most. So that's how I communicate to the market. And at the end, Emguarde is not a magic pill. It is not a miracle machine. It is a machine that uses literature and understanding on how the frequencies and body works to protect us to the maximum degree that it can. So I don't oversell the Emguarde. I say it is a protection. You buy insurance every month. You pay a couple $100s a month just for insurance, which you don't use, you don't claim. Why not get something that you can get an immediate health benefit from it, I undersell it. I think the challenge happens when people start to oversell the products. I don't oversell the product. I undersell the product and I focus more on the business. So that's what I do.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's very important that you don't say things that are not true and just be clear about the information. Thank you. Yeah. So another question was, does the Emguarde work like noise canceling headphones? So sending the opposite waves. I get that question really a lot. What do you answer
Yeah.
on that one?
I can say it is a very similar technology. I'm not an engineer of the Emguarde, but based on what I've understand from it, it is similar, but except number one, you don't have to wear the Emguardes on your ears. That's number one. Number two, Emguarde deals with frequency that resonates the body. Now, the word resonate sounds like a positive word, right? I resonate with you. It means we're good, right? But in frequencies, when you have resonance, it leads to vibration. That's why there's a video that we like to show where we use two tuning forks. And when you have two tuning forks of the same frequency, you hit one and the other one that is remotely away, not touching each other, starts to vibrate. And that's how an MRI machine works in a hospital. And you would hear people advising us that don't do so many MRIs every day because it causes vibration of the body, the water molecules in the body. So resonance in this way doesn't mean it's a good thing when the frequencies around it resonates with our cells and our body on a daily basis. So in a way, in short, the concept is similar, noise cancellation, but at the end, the harmonic frequencies from the Emguarde is designed to harmonize the zone that we're in to reduce the electromagnetic noise radiation energy for frequencies that resonates with our body the most. So in principle, it is similar like a noise cancellation headphones, but a noise cancellation headphones, there is no inherent health benefit to that. You just cancel out the noise. But the electromagnetic noise radiation we are talking about is affecting our physiology, it's affecting our mood, it's affecting our brain, it's affecting a lot of things in our body. If you've seen some of the videos done by Dr. Roland with the blood samples, it even causes our blood to actually formulate a rouleau formation, which is clumping of the blood cells. So it has a proven and visible health effect. And Emguarde actually uses the harmonic frequency by suppressing the electromagnetic noise to mitigate these health effects. So in principle, it's similar, but it's done remotely, and it is to actually counter the resonating frequency with the body. So that is the correct answer about how Emguarde works.
Thank you. You can say it also clear, Simon. That's wonderful. I'm going to write it out exactly what you're saying here. So that's really that's
literature. Yeah, it's on the thing. So
yeah,
I didn't invent all.
Yeah. Great. I see it's 11, at least here. So we are an hour, but I have one last question, and that is
Sure.
also about that range, because I understand very well that the range of the Emguarde is from 3 to 1,000 megahertz, but the targeted harmonic frequencies are starting from 36 and then 72
Yep.
stuff. So what somebody asked me is like, so what actually happens between the 3 and the 36? Does anything happen there?
I'm not. I've asked the same question before, but I think how the Emguarde is described on the patent and also on the website. I think that is the information that Enagic is prepared to show us. Because you have to understand that the Emguarde tech, it is a very special technology, and it's not just like an ionization machine where you have an ionizer, it's a cathode anode, and whoever has the best quality is medical certified, and you can get certification, and that's the Kangen. So, but you know what is the fundamental technology, which is ionization. But for the Emguarde, how it works is harmonic frequency is, they call it multiple layering of harmonic frequency. So there are things that the developer has input into the Emguarde that actually creates this entire harmonizing effect. And Enagic doesn't publish everything about how exactly the tech works because to avoid competition and copycats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that they put 3 to 1,000, I can't say why is it 3 to 1,000, but that's what the developer talked about. But what I know is the 36 to 72. So a great question is a very fair question. People ask, what happens between 3 to 36? What happens between 36 to 72, right? Because how harmonic frequencies works is you have to set the first harmonic. They call it the base harmonic. And for Emguarde, the first harmonic that I know is 36, not 3. So it's 36, right? And the next one is 72 because how harmonic frequencies work is when you set the base harmonic as 36, the second harmonics is plus base. So it's 36 plus 36, 72, and then you plus again all the way to 108, 144, all the way up to 1000 megahertz. So what happens between these frequencies? If you look into the application, which is the SDR, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. We use a special Android application or the Budget SDR, which Peter purchased a lot of it from the Malaysian team, is that you would have to tune those devices to either 36 or 72 or 108. So if you tune it, let's say at 48 in the middle, right, between 36 and 72, you will not see any suppression. So my question that time to the team here was, why wasn't Emguarde's harmonic set at, let's say, 2? Because if it was 2, the next would be 4, and the next would be 6 and 8, so on and so forth. So there would be more frequencies covered. Why 36? Why the big jump? And this was the brilliant answer that I got. The main key frequency that Emguarde aims to suppress frequencies from affecting our body is the frequencies that resonates and vibrates our brain, which because our brain is one of the most important organs in the body. And we talk about the brain a lot. And the brain's resonating frequency is 72 megahertz. So 72 is the second harmonic of Emguarde. The first harmonic is 36. And why 36? Because FCC says it is between 30 to 300 where our body absorbs the most. So they try to strike a balance because 72 being the second harmonic, the power of the harmonic is very strong because it's the second harmonic. If Emguarde's harmonic was set as 2, as the base harmonics, by the time it goes to 72, it would have been the 20th or 25th, I don't know, you have to count it, harmonic. And when you're on the 20th or 25th harmonic, the power is already really, really low.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
that's how it is. And that answer satisfied me when I asked, and that made a lot of sense to me. And that's why they had to set the harmonic, the first one at 36 to make sure that that 30 plus range is covered. And then the most important organ in the body, which is 72.
Exactly.
Right. So that is the reason. Right.
Ah,
So what the Enagic claims talks about in the brochure is targeted Emguarde suppresses targeted electro. So the word is targeted, not the full range, because between 3 megahertz to 1000 megahertz, you're talking about a couple billion frequencies. You can't suppress the whole range because Emguarde is not a Faraday cage. Faraday cage means you press a button, they cancel out all the frequencies in your room. Because if Emguarde does that, I don't believe any government would approve such a product because you could cancel out frequencies, you could stop people's Wi-Fi, you could create certain things that would inconvenience your neighbors, for example. So Emguarde is not a Faraday cage. And when you have the Emguarde turned on, you would still be able to use your phone, your 4G, your Wi-Fi. So they have to design in a way. So it was very complex. They had to design in a way that could solve the issues we are facing with electromagnetic radiation, give us the health benefit, yet not affecting our mobile phone devices and get government approval for market. So it was a very complex task, but they managed to do it. And I think that's where Enagic was, really had a home run. It was like a home run with this product, launching it worldwide. So that's why, learning all these things, I know it's a bit complicated for some of the new people who are joining us for the very first time, but I think for those of you who understand Angus to a fair bit, I think you would appreciate some of these information. It's pretty interesting.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon. That really makes it much more clear. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
incredible, Simon. Your knowledge on the subject is immense. And guys, when Simon is over in Europe or whatever region that you may be in, next time, just make sure that you put that in your agenda and turn up. You'll learn so much. And that brings me on now to our real final section. I know we got a little bit over time, but I'm sure the audience is still with us, and they could
Good.
listen to you all evening, Simon. In the training that I followed, with you and your team in Malaysia, you covered a very great section on mistakes that
Right.
distributors, make. Now, without going into the whole training, guys, you're going to have to come to Malaysia next
Yeah.
time. We'll tell you when the next event is taking place uh, at the end. But maybe you just highlight a few mistakes that you feel are important just to share with the people so that they can make them but learn from them.
Sure. I think there's a few things I want to talk about, key things. Of course, come for the event. We're going to talk about it later. It's going to be exciting. And by the way, Peter, we already have more than 450 tickets sold in the last one
Wow.
week. Incredible. Yeah. So we're expecting about 750 for the next one that you come back. And a lot of the key mistakes in this business, which I've done most of them. That's why we create all these kind of trainings. Number one, I would say the first thing is not learning from the successful people. It sounds cliche, but a lot of people, because people come into this business from different backgrounds, you could be really successful in whatever that you were doing before. You could be a doctor, you could be a successful businessman, you could be a franchise owner, whatever it is. People could come from many different backgrounds. So the key thing about if I go into a McDonald's business, I want to learn from the best franchisor in the market. I want to see how he's doing it, how he's able to open up 20 stores, right? So similarly in Enagic, a lot of people when they come in, they bring their past experience, which is not necessarily always a good thing into the Enagic business. So I always believe in being humble, right? Even today, I'm still learning and learn the tricks of the trade within the Enagic business. So I think that's really key. Be a student, be humble. I've met a guy named you've seen a guy named Marcus that was on stage, which was incredible. Marcus Liu, that came and spoke in our event. He was a multi-millionaire in financial sales, financial services sales. And when he came into Enagic, he said, I'm a blank piece of paper, teach me everything. And that's why today in a couple months, he's going to become a 6A. And this guy sells only Emguarde. Like incredible, right? So I think that's one thing. Second thing, which I've spoken to a lot of the European distributors when I was there, a lot of people make that fundamental mistake that Enagic is a product sales company. It is a killer mistake. What do I mean by that? A lot of people come in because the 8 point is so juicy. Peter talked about 20,000, 30,000 euros, 100%. I've seen those incomes from the 8 points. It's very exciting. But people fall into the rabbit hole that this is a business where I focus on making 4, 5, 6 personal sales a month and earn a lot of income. And that is the Enagic business. Unfortunately, when we are focused on product sales all the time, what we forget to focus on is building up the leaders, building up the people, building up the organization. Because what do we want at the end of the day? I can't speak for all of you, but let me share with you what I want. I want financial freedom. What is freedom? Freedom means whether I sell a machine or not this month, I recruit a new team member or not this month, I get my scalable income every single month and it's growing. Whether I do the business or I don't do the business. I'm talking about the sales, right? If I do more sales, I get more income. I think that's what we all want. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not going to achieve that if you're a product seller only and you're not a team builder. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap, right? And that's a killer mistake if you ask me. So I've seen distributors being in the company for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, still a 6A, not going anywhere. Why? Because they haven't been talking enough about the business. They talk only about the product, and that is a killer mistake. So I believe in striking a balance 50-50 business and product. And the third thing is maybe I'm going a little bit sidetracked, but I believe it's going to add a lot of value to all our friends here on this call. Is there are three types of buyers in Enagic. There is a type 1, there is a type 2, and there's a type 3. I spoke about this in our event last week. Type 1 are people that buys because of the health benefits of the products. They just love the machine, right? Don't care about the business. Number two, they buy the product because they know there is a referral program and they can refer some friends and get their money back in due time. Okay, that's type two. Type three, the third type, are people that buys primarily for the business. They see this as a business opportunity. They see this as their ticket to freedom, a ticket to financial freedom. Type one, two, and three. Let me just ask Peter and Margaret, because the rest of you guys are muted. Who do you think is going to give you your volume big sales in Enagic? One, two, or three?
Yeah,
Number three.
Number three, right? Everybody will give me the same answer. Whether they succeed or not, that's a different story, right? You could be coming in, I want to do it as a business, but you don't succeed. So that's besides the point. The point is, it is the type three of people that will be explosive in your business. And I asked the following question to my team and everybody here. What kind of languaging are you using in your business? Is your languaging type one or is it type three? Type one means what? Buy this machine, is going to make you look younger. The beauty water is great for your skin. The 11.5 wash away tomatoes, pesticides, blah, blah, blah. All that is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But are you attracting type one or are you attracting type three? So we have to be very conscious about what we say, because I created this training, I created this concept called how you present Enagic is how people view Enagic. Enagic is Enagic. It's up to us. I call ourselves magicians. Magicians mean we can create the perception. Are you attracting type one or type three? Most people, when I ask them, do you want to recruit a lot of distributors? They say yes. But I say, how are you talking to people? It is all end user talk. So I said, if you're talking type one language, how on earth do you expect to attract a type three unless you're just lucky? Somebody drinks the water, uses the Emguarde, gets extremely healthy and feels an amazing energy, and they start to distribute the product. I wouldn't refute that possibility, but our business shouldn't be left to chance and possibility. Our business should be focused on formulas and things that we do to get the results that we want, right? So are you focusing on type one or type three? If you're still doing type one languaging, one of the things that you need to do is to change the language. Because if the moment you don't change the language, it's really difficult for you to bring in the type three, right? And if you are focusing on distributors, is your team focusing on distributors? So it's the whole thing. You got to look at your whole team. What is the team culture? What is the focus of the team? Is it just product seller? And if you look at your monthly sales, if you look at the production from your team, you will know what kind of team you have. Is it a product sales team or is it a team building team? And for me, for the last 9 years, because I learned from the best, Mr. Amos Sia, 687-6, he's my mentor. He's been focusing on the type 3 distributor from the moment he started his business. And I'm so glad and happy that I was having the chance to learn from him. So I think that is a really big shift that a lot of I believe, like, in the United business, like playing golf. It is that 1 degree shift, whether your ball goes into a hole in one or ends up in the water. And these things that we have just discussed, this couple points, is that 1 degree shift that could make a whole lot of difference in our business, right? So that's the second thing, and it's a big one. And the third thing is, if I may add one more, is you got to do it with intensity. You got to compress your timeline. A lot of people do a demo a month and expect to be a 6A in 6 months. How does that work? Does that work? It doesn't make sense. So people are in dreamland, and sometimes you just need to let them know that this business is not easy. People's put $1 million to open up a restaurant somewhere in Europe. No guarantees of success. They have to be in the restaurant every day. They have to lift up the shutter 7 a.m. in the morning, buy the ingredients, hire the stuff, pay the rent just to make ends meet. And here we are in Enagic. All we need is 5,000 euro K, 1,000 something euro Emguarde. We have a business. So people take it too lightly. They take it too relaxed, because one of the things you have to really understand is you have to treat as if you have invested 1 million euros in this business, not 6,000, not 7,000, whatever euros. And you have to do it with intensity. You can't afford doing a demo a month. You're not going to get anywhere, because this business is a monkey see, monkey do business. If you do a demo a month, your downline is going to do half a demo a month. right? So it's always the case. You got to lead by example, not by talk, but by doing. And when you do, people want to people want to emulate you. People want to follow your energy. And it's this monkey see, monkey do thing. So you have to compress your timeline. You got to increase the intensity. When like when I sit with somebody and they said, okay, cool, I'm in. So when should we schedule our first call? Do we do it next week? I said, no, we do it tomorrow. Bring in your two friends. Is there a huge difference? If you think about compounding effect, compounding your money 3% in your fixed deposit once a year versus once a month, it's a huge difference. And that's how this business works. Not next week, tomorrow, or not free, day after. So I always try to compress the timeline. Do as much as possible in a shorter time as possible. And you will notice once you're doing that, once you're creating that momentum, everything starts to change. Everything starts to change. Your income, your sales, people joining your team, everything starts to change. So if you're not getting the results you have today, look at what you've done your last couple months. Be very honest with yourself. And like Peter said, our mantra in our business, no demo, no sales. If you've done 2 demos in the last 1 month, how could you expect a sale? So it comes back to the basics. So I think there's a couple things, about what we should avoid doing in the business. And if you want to learn more about it, come to our event. That's what I can say, because the event just encompasses so many things. So
Yes.
people need to be here.
Exactly. The event. What date is the event taking place, Simon? Just so we
It
we're
is
back.
it is on the 27th and 28th of September. In fact, I have the website. I think I can share the screen or something.
Yes.
Yeah, share the screen. So it is happening on the 27th and 28th of September, 2025. In Gardens Ballroom, Gardens Mall, Kuala Lumpur. And this is the same place where the Enagic Malaysia office is. It's all in the same vicinity. It is a beautiful mall. It's one of the biggest malls in Asia. It's in the same place. So there are 3 hotel properties just around the mall. It's a beautiful place. And we have a 2-day event. And the first day is called the Essential Enagic Workshop, right? Where we talk about different types of commissions. We talk about how you present the business. We talk about how the other commissions work. We talk about how the Enagic products have no competition, do's and don'ts of a distributor, how can you set up yourself to become a 6A in the business, and many more things on the first day. So this Essential Enagic Workshop, day one, we have been running it for the last 11 years. It's not a new thing. It was running even before I joined. So that's the history of this workshop. And then on the second day, we have something called the Emguarde Summit. This is a new one. This is probably the 5th one that we're doing, because we've had so much success with the first 4, and we continued doing a 2-day training. And this is, if you guys really want to learn everything about the Emguarde, and you really want to be the pioneer of Emguarde in Netherlands or Europe, or wherever you guys are from, Africa, you have to attend the Emguarde Summit, because this Emguarde Summit, we have healthcare professionals, medical professionals, we have Emguarde technical experts training, and we have a lot of leaders who are succeeding with Emguarde all in one day to give you guys everything. So it's a really powerful day too. So these are the 2 days that we're doing, and these are the trainers, myself included. And then we have Amos, my mentor 67-6, Mingwei, which is Amos's son, which is my direct sponsor. He brought me into the business. He's a -5, and we got Eunice and we got Egbert. These are fantastic people. And you can actually buy your tickets at fhptrainings.com. FHP Training is our team name. It's called Full House Power. So it goes FHP Trainings with a S.com. You can just click on the button below, and it is only 120 ringgit, which is 30 euros or something like that, 40 euros. I don't know. It's barely covering the cost of the event, because when we jointly organize these events with Enagic Malaysia, our intention is to empower the distributors. We're not here to sell seminars, because if I'm going to sell you a seminar, it's not going to be for 30 euros. So this is more focused on helping Enagic distributors to really level up. So what happens with a lot of people when they come for the workshop, they don't come alone. They bring their team, like what Peter has done, like what my team has done. They bring 10, 20, 30 people. And what usually happens is after the weekend, we enjoy. I mean, we have so much fun, Peter. I just so much fun after the event. We have parties and networking and talking to different distributors. Most of the people that you will invite to these events will become part-time or full-time distributors. That's how powerful these events are. And that's how confident we are to talk about these things. So Peter's coming back. I believe you bought a couple tickets already and you want to buy more. And we have a short video, which I think is really well done. So I just want to take that opportunity to showcase the video because it was really cool. And I hope everybody can actually hear the volume. And it's going to be a short video. And this is actually what happened last weekend in KL, Malaysia. One second. Yep.
This training, when you come, you feel the power and the energy, and it's a consistent reminder that this business is not a business that you do alone. It is a business that, requires you to build a team and to have leadership qualities.
It's an energy, it's a connection, it's a community, and I mean, the number of people that I've met here from different corners of the world has been, I love to network. And I've probably met about 50 people here at least, and I expect to meet a lot more today.
Yes, after I attended EEW, I just realized that if you want to success in Enagic, you have to attend at least once essential Enagic workshop in your life.
Come to the workshop, don't come alone, and please make sure you come with lots and lots of people, all the people that you care for, and bring out notepads and write down as much note as possible. Be a student, be humble. That'll be my advice.
If we want to be success, we must to commit to the business.
So yesterday's session, I come to know about the mistakes. I noted down the mistakes and what not to do and what to do in the Enagic business for successful journey. But when I attended this session, and the perception completely get changed. So if anyone want to boost their business, they must attend these EEWES sessions.
This is the only setting where you get more and more information with testimonials, with research, information and knowledge on Emguarde, number one. Number two, you get to interact and you get to network with Enagic distributors from all across the world. So that makes this platform very unique.
All right. So that's the highlight video. So you can watch it again. You can see more about our next event, fhbtrainings.com, and it is a must attend. So Peter can talk more about it. Margreet, you have not been here. Hope to see you there. I believe every single distributor should attend this event. And when you come here, you will know what we're talking about. And it was the event that I have attended. Of course, there's a minor improvements and adjustment throughout the years, but it was the same event that I attended close to 10 years ago. And if not for the event, I wouldn't be in the Enagic business. So that's how powerful this event. So for those of you who are really looking for a big change in your business, a really new energy, and what I like about our events is Amos himself is an accountant. I'm an accountant. It is not one of those big rah-rah events. You go there and people shout and sing songs and all that. We're not into those things, right? We're into real practical, real life examples how this business should work and how you should be building the business. And of course, with a lot of mindset training, because I believe that we all have the same product. We all have this beautiful company called Enagic. We all have the same K8 and the same Emguarde. But what differentiates a successful distributor and a distributor that's not successful yet are just the mindsets and the actions we take every day. And that's why these events are just so important. Right. So Peter, looking forward to see you again. And I hope a lot of people on this call, about 50 of 59, 60 of us, would also join us for this event. It'll be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I fully endorse that. And you just get a little flavor of what you'll be exposed to on such an event. Absolutely must go to event. So with that being said, I think that's a perfect way to end. And let's have another call, maybe like this, in about a month's time. Margreet, thank you very much for your initiative also to push the full call forward. And Simon, thank you so much for being with us today. We hope to have you as a guest on many more calls and learn from you as we have done today. So thank you on behalf of everybody for sharing your time, your information with us. And Margreet, you've done a great job helping me out here and hosting. So, and everybody who's been joining us today, thank you so much for being with us. So we wish you all every success on your Enagic journey, and put this information into practice, guys. That's all you got to do. Just learn from your notes, watch this call again, and just pick out something and start applying it, because this will improve your business. This will impact your results. So thank you very much once again. And with that, I'll let Margreet and Simon say goodbye and good night to you as well. So once again, good night from me, goodbye, good afternoon, good morning, whichever part of the world you're in. It's 11 o'clock, almost 10:30 here with me. So good night.
Thank you so much,
very
Peter.
much, Peter.
So it's been a pleasure. I mean, I hope I could really meet a lot of you guys, so the best thing you can do, come to KL, the next event. Looking forward to see you guys here. Tina, how's it going? Congratulations on your Kangen Air. I can see you're all right. So we got a couple of our team members here from Dubai as well. And Enagic is a global business. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. It's exciting. Be part of this journey. Do it with intensity. Come and learn how to do it the real intensive way, and really achieve the success in the shortest time possible. And I really wish everybody here a successful journey with Enagic, and I hope to see you at the top. All right, Margreet, over to you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Simon and Peter, both of you. Very, very inspirational call. And for sure, I will be there in September in KL. Looking very much forward to this Enagic Essential Workshop, and I hope to take a lot of people from my team. Wonderful. Thank you very much, and looking forward to the next call.
Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for being here.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night. Good morning. Good day. Bye-bye.